birth story.
Yes. Where to start? Well, I will start with how I got pregnant, I guess. So
How?
well, I guess y'all know how I got pregnant. But, I was changing my birth control and I had to be off my certain birth control. I believe I was on the pill. No, I was getting the shot at the time. And I was changing because I wasn't digging the shot at the time because I was gaining a lot of weight and, all the bad things with birth control. So I was switching and my doctor wanted me to get a normal period before I went on my new. So it was like the week of me going to get on my new birth control and I found out I was pregnant.
At the doctor's office, right?
Yeah, I was not happy about it. I bawled and cried and cried and cried and cried. And John was super happy and I don't know, like everything's going to be okay. Like this is great news. And
well, wait, how old are you? And how old was John?
I mean, John's only a year older than me.
So you guys were?
I was 20.
That's not that bad.
Right? I was 20.
And he was 21?
Because I was pregnant for my 21st birthday.
That sucks.
Yeah. So yes, I was 20 when I found out. Not excited. He wanted to call his mom and like be super happy about it. Go to my mom's house and tell her. And when I was telling my mom was literally like, I don't know if I should hug you, cry with you. Like, I have no idea. So I was super, super upset about it. And I also was super embarrassed about it. My sisters had kids before me and they are younger than me. And I just always said that I was not going to have kids until I was at least 26. But it happened. I got pregnant. It was great. I did not tell anybody at my work. I was also applying for a new position. I wanted to be an assistant store manager at Victoria's Secret, but in Fond du Lac. So I didn't want them to like say no to me because I was pregnant.
You're already at VS?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How long were you and John together for?
Well, John and I have been together since I was 16. He was 17. So a good amount of time. And we were engaged.
Oh.
So, I mean, our relationship moved very, very fast. Yeah. We got together.
Really. That's 4 years.
Yeah, but we got engaged pretty quick. I want to say a year or two, maybe. Like, we were engaged before I was 18, I think. Because we went to New Orleans. And we were living in New Orleans for a while, and he proposed to me there.
Cute.
So I think it was like the moment.
How do you propose?
We went on a carriage ride in New Orleans, downtown French Quarters. And he proposed.
With a ring?
Yes.
Oh
he had his grandpa buy a ring. Because I don't think he had a credit card at the time. So he had his grandpa buy a ring, and his mom brought it to New Orleans when she came.
Cute.
Yeah, it was cute. I obviously did not want to be pregnant that young. As you know in all the other episodes, I care so much what people think about me. So I think that's where I was just like super embarrassed to tell anybody I was pregnant. I didn't want to tell anyone at work. I didn't want to tell anyone. I look young too, so I look younger. Like when I'm 20, I looked like I was like 16.
Well, because when you were pregnant with Peyton, everyone was always saying stuff about how young you were. And I'm like, I'm younger. Like, WTF.
Yeah, like people would give me bad backlash. Like customers at Victoria's Secret. And you have to be 18 to work at Victoria's Secret.
But no, like when you were pregnant with Peyton, people would always say stuff and you're like, I have another kid. I'm married. Like, yeah. We've been together. Like,
I felt like I always had to.
Yeah. You did. You really actually did. It was insane.
Defend myself.
And customers, did you have this where they would just touch your belly?
Oh, yeah. All the time. It was gross.
Okay. So
I
you're
would pretty
pregnant.
much run away. So I was pregnant. There were some complications with Sawyer, thinking that he had some heart issues, like his heart wasn't growing. I don't remember the specifics, but there were some complications. So we had to do some additional testing, and that was another reason why I wanted to wait to tell people I was pregnant because of that. Then, being at Victoria's Secret, I'm on my feet for hours a day, nonstop, running around. That never stopped me. I didn't really make pregnancy an excuse.
Did they let you wear tennis shoes the first time? Because I think they only really let us wear tennis shoes with sport. But then, because we were pregnant,
I don't think I was allowed to wear tennis shoes in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I remember my feet were always so swollen. My friend would give me like back rubs in the fitting room because I had sciatic nerve pain really bad. I was huge, you guys. I know everybody has their things to say about that, but I have so much water or liquid that I just blow up. I look like I have twins, if not triplets or more kids. Like, that was constantly a question. Twins? Nope, just one baby. But then I had to go get stress tests a lot, where I would literally sit in a chair for an hour and just click a button every single time I felt my baby move.
Oh, dang.
And I had to do that often. And I did not have preeclampsia. I did not have, what is the diabetes?
Just gestational diabetes.
Yeah, I didn't have that, thankfully, which was shocking.
I thought you did have preeclampsia. Why did I think you did?
I didn't have any of that. But then one day at work, I don't remember how far along I was. It was like in the late 20s weeks. I started leaking fluid while I was at work. So literally, I thought my water was breaking.
Yeah.
One of the managers took me to the hospital and sat with me because John was at work, and I had to be monitored. And they made me wear a pad and walk around the hospital. So my friend, my coworker, was walking around with me.
Dang.
And this is really gross, but they were trying to figure out what the fluid was. And the nurse rips off my pad and smells it.
Oh,
it was disgusting. Danny, if you're listening, you'll remember that for sure. Because we talked about it forever. It was
oh my
gross.
Gosh.
So then I went on bed rest because.
So did they find out what it was?
I was leaking amniotic. I can't say words,
because they have a test. You just rub it. Did they not have that back then?
They did that too. So yeah, they did that with the pad.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't enough. It wasn't a ton of liquid.
Yeah.
So they put me on bed rest for a little bit. And then, yeah, I think they gave me something to stop my labor. But I don't remember what it was called.
It's hard when our kids are this old. That's why I'm like,
I just care about my baby. I don't know. I don't know all the terms and stuff. But then, then I went into labor. I had Braxton Hicks, where at one point I thought I was going to have a baby. So then we canceled my baby shower.
Oh, dang.
Because I was in the hospital the night before. Did not have a baby. And then I ended up being induced because of the worry about the fluid and how big I was. They did an induction, but then they just popped my water sac.
Yeah.
They just broke my water. And I did not get Pitocin. I went into labor on my own. With Sawyer, it was very, very challenging, very difficult. It was a long time. His heart rate kept going down really bad. Yeah. So then I had to push every other contraction, every 3 contractions.
Which is insane. You just sat there during contractions?
Yeah, and they had me on all fours too at a lot of the point, because when I was laying, that's when his heart rate would decrease so bad. So I was at one point literally on my hands, knees, fucking ass in the air.
They say that's the better way to do it, though.
Oh, but you feel disgusting. I felt so gross. And then they had me like laying on like this peanut medicine ball. It's shaped as a peanut. Yeah. They had me on that thing. Nurses would constantly come running in, and it was super scary. And then after all of that, I mean,
it was like how many hours? 20 some hours, 30 hours? How many hours?
No, it wasn't that long. Oh. It was, we went in at like 4 a.m, and then I ended up having him at 7:30. Okay. But, my heart rate then kept increasing, probably because I was just super stressed out about it all. Yeah. And they had to keep taking my blood, and they left, the rubber band around to take your blood. They left the rubber band on my arm. Okay. And then they put the pressure cuff over that rubber band. Now, I had no idea of that. But as I'm like bearing down, holding my legs and trying to push my baby out, my arm was like dead. And the whole time, that's all I kept thinking about was my arm. And I was bitching and complaining, probably super annoying to the nurse, but it was so bad. And John's like trying to be like, come on, babe, you got it. You got to just bear down. Like, grab those knees and just, and I'm like, you don't understand. My arm is dead. I can't hold my leg up. I can't do any of that. And then the nurse, annoyingly, I remember saying first, like, I don't care about food. I don't care about having this baby. Just cut my arm off. Like, that is literally how bad it was. Mm-hmm. And then the nurse annoyingly was like, well, I guess we can take the cuff off if it's really bothering you that bad. We could take a break from it. And then all of a sudden they saw that and they're like, oh crap, and just like untied it and acted like nothing happened. My arm was literally purple. And they just brushed it all under the rug and act like nothing was happening. And then come 7:00 and they're like, yeah, we think we need to do emergency C-section. Let's go. So we did that. That was super scary. Also, John didn't want any of our family in the room, so it was just him and I.
Were they waiting?
They were all waiting in the waiting room.
Are both of Marissa's kids older than yours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you were saying that she had, we should have her on and talk about her birth story.
I don't know if she'd remember. I think she blinked a lot of it out.
Really?
But we could see.
Because you said you were pregnant with Sawyer and you're like, I need to get out of here because it was traumatic. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should only share positive stories. I feel like you can always find bad ones. I have good ones.
I mean, yeah, so that was... I guess that's not that bad. But, I mean...
when you're in the moment, though.
Yeah. Bad. And having a C-section, that definitely wasn't my plan. Mm-hmm. Nobody in my family had a C-section. I remember John's mom coming in and saying I should not have a C-section. I should keep going. And my mom, I think, was just supportive. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. But, so then that was challenging.
So did you have the epidural?
I did have an epidural. In the middle part of it. That's another thing with the epidural. You know me, care so much what people think. Don't want to make people mad. You know how they say, if you feel the liquid go any sort of way in your back, if you feel coolness or whatever, tell me immediately. It was full going into my back. And I tensed up and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, nothing. He's like, you are lying. And yeah, it went to the left side of my back. And I feel like that's why I have back issues. Sciatic nerve still. I have issues with my back. Dang. And it probably is because of that. But I was just going to let it keep going.
They say that you can have permanent back issues with the epidural, which is why I was terrified to get one.
Yeah. And then, so with the C-section, I mean, you are awake. A lot of people don't understand that. You are awake. You are strapped down.
I didn't know that. And I think I cut it out of Amber's episode. We talked a lot with Amber on that episode about our birth like stuff, but I didn't want the episode to be like over 2 hours long, so we just cut it down to only her birth stuff. And so we thought with Mother's Day, Vanessa can share her birth story, I can share my birth story. So I don't remember. I think I cut that part out. But Vanessa and Amber are like, yeah, you're in this white room, no noise, strapped down, your significant other doesn't come in right away, like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And John had to get all gowned up, and then he came in, and John watched it. I mean, at least a little bit. And you were throwing up? Nope, that's for Peyton.
Oh, okay.
And I like, you feel like tickles. So, like, you feel something going on in there, obviously. I mean, they, like, literally, they put something under you, and all your stuff comes out. Like, it just gets, like, flipped out of you. And John's like telling me this while I'm like,
I'm sure he was
on the bed, and I'm like, ugh, like, stop watching. I don't want to know.
He was giving you a play-by-play the whole time,
kind of, and he's like, ooh. I'm like, stop making noises because you're freaking me out.
Oh my gosh.
And then, you know, the doctors and nurses are just talking like it's an everyday thing, and they, like, nicked my bladder, so then, I don't know, and then they weren't answering me about that, because they're like, shit, bladder, I don't know, so it was a lot, and then, when they pulled Sawyer out, I don't know if I should share this, it's kind of embarrassing, but my husband is colorblind, and when the baby comes out, they're pretty purple that way, and Jonathan legit thought that our baby was black and that it was not his baby, and he was freaking out. And then the nurse had to tell him, like, no, honey, like, they're purple. Like, I don't know how she exactly said it, because I'm like so out of it.
So the nurse calmed him down then?
The nurse calmed him down, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm strapped on this bed. I can't even say anything.
And you guys were now married.
We were married.
Yeah, so he's probably like, I gotta get to the courthouse.
So yeah, he thought I cheated on him and had a baby with someone else. That was his first thought. And then finally the color comes in and it's all good, but I mean, John still tells that story, and I think it's so embarrassing, but
it's the truth.
It's my truth. It's what happened. He's a freak show.
Oh my gosh.
And then
we're at the park with our kids. Okay, if you watch on YouTube, I have been trying to keep eye contact. Okay, it's very hard because we record in the car, and this is like where we can have silence from the children, but then we feel guilty about not spending enough time with the children or whatever, you know, all the mom feelings. So we decided to, like, bring them to a park, but now it's like where we're parking isn't directly looking at them, where we can just, like, look above the camera, beside the camera. We gotta, like, fully turn our head.
We have to look that way.
And we can't just leave them, you know, complete zero supervision, because I already see Mackenzie doesn't have her jacket on. And it's very cold out and very windy, so crazy. Okay, so, but, like, your pregnancy was good besides Sawyer just having the stuff and the stress test. So really your pregnancy wasn't good. I mean, it was good enough.
It was good enough. John and I also battled a lot with our relationship. So it was not super happy. I will say that. I mean, we were young.
Did you come to, like, Sawyer's name easy? Like, how was all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Sawyer's name was easy.
Really?
I think, yeah, we picked his name. Well, we had some other names, like Deacon. And then, yeah, we had a few other names. I think it was only Deacon and Sawyer. And then also one of my nurses, when I had Sawyer, her son's name was Sawyer. I don't know, I thought that was cute. But I didn't know a lot of Sawyers at that time, and now it's a very popular name, unfortunately. But we named him after one of our shows that we love, One Tree Hill, which is Peyton Sawyer, is a character, my favorite character. Peyton Sawyer is her last name. But then she has a baby and names him Sawyer. So, I mean, so that was easy. We had a lot of input with names. That was super annoying, but I think most people have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and John was not super active as a dad when I first had Sawyer. I mean, I had a C-section, so I wasn't supposed to be like upstairs and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sawyer, I don't know if John was terrified. I don't exactly know.
Was he still in the oil stuff and gone all the time?
He wasn't in the oil field quite yet. So he did nothing. I'm going to be he did nothing at all. Oh, and he quit his job right before I had Sawyer. Remember? Well, you don't remember.
No, I didn't work there then.
But he quit his job, so that was a super major stressor.
Are we going to keep that in?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of life. I mean, he quit his job. He was definitely battling a lot of, mental health issues, I think, at that time. And we weren't getting along. And it was super stressful. I really felt alone for a while. Thankfully, I had my sister who had babies, so it was easy enough for her to help me and stuff. And then I went back to work. That was challenging.
Yeah. Did you try and breastfeed?
I did try to breastfeed with Sawyer. That's a whole nother story. I mean, he wouldn't latch. So we had to deal with lactation nurses.
Oh, yeah, that came to your house?
Yeah, they came to our house. They were there at the hospital. Very aggressive. I don't know what, squeezing their cheeks and, doing all the different holds and, fucking, squeezing my boobs. It was not fun. And I just remember crying and crying and crying. And again, nobody in my family breastfed. So that was a new journey. Very difficult. But part of life. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, that's really it with Sawyer. Love of my life. I love Sawyer. He's a great kid. And he grew up, he was our entertainer.
He still is.
Such a funny, caring little boy. Mm-hmm. And
all right, Peyton,
we tried for. John did not want another child. He did not want one at all. But I really, really, really wanted another child. And I didn't want our kids to be too far apart. So I was doing everything. I mean, I was trying to trick him constantly. My coworker once said that she was gonna, give me all the condoms. I'll just poke little holes in all the condoms and he'll never know.
You can with the pinholes.
Yeah, that's what she was gonna do. Patty.
She would have.
Patty?
She would have.
And honestly, Patty is the one who talked me into having another kid, too. So pregnant with Peyton. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. Was there issues? I was at Victoria's Secret.
So it was after work. I don't know.
Do you remember taking pregnancy tests together?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you were trying. I thought Peyton was a oopsies. But
no.
It was me, you, and Pinch closing. Maybe other people were closing. We're in the parking lot. You're like, I think I need to go home and take a pregnancy test. And I was like, whoa, I don't know the last time I had my period. Then we're like...
Did we take it at the store?
No, but we bought them at Target. Because it was right there. It was Target. I'm pretty sure we bought them at Target. And then we made some little group message thingamabob. And we're like, we're going to go home and take these tests. And I was like, it's positive. And you're like, is that how it went? Or did you already know you were pregnant?
I think I already knew. Maybe we tested before. Well, no, maybe I messaged you. I don't remember.
All I remember is you saying something about maybe being pregnant and then me being like, yeah, I don't know the last time I got my period. And then it was we were in the parking lot for forever, and I had to go home and send you guys my positive test.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you might have already known you were pregnant. Mm-hmm. Maybe you took one at work earlier that day or something. Yeah, who was the first person at VSU told?
I don't remember that.
Because management knew right away. And I'm pretty sure... potentially, I was one of the first ones outside of management to know.
I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't either.
I should remember. I know that I found out I was pregnant with Peyton with a Dollar Tree test, though.
Did we go to the dollar store
So
together?
I must have... I wonder if we took a test before that when I was trying. Together.
Because I remember it was my place in Nina. I had to go back there. And Brooklyn and Josh were like asleep. And it was like at nighttime.
Yeah.
So maybe we had to go to Target for you to buy prenatals or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was something about Target, the parking lot. And y'all being like, Tanisha, you have to take a test.
I knew I was pregnant before you.
Okay.
Yes, that is right. Now that I'm thinking. So then, yeah, we then probably went and bought you a pregnancy test. And made you take it.
Yeah.
Because you were probably in denial.
Probably.
Or not wanting to know, I don't know. Yeah, and then Peyton's pregnancy, I mean, same things. I was huge, super big. My feet were swollen.
Your feet were huge. Your feet were like...
It's how, like, I didn't understand how I didn't have preeclampsia and all that. Like...
Yeah. I think the thing with preeclampsia is you were, like, talking about, like, something about it, and I didn't even know it was a thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, I went through my whole pregnancy with Brooklyn not realizing, like, people can die in birth. Crap can happen. I, like, had no idea. Mm-hmm. Until Elena. And then you guys were all, like, so much more knowledgeable. And, like, all of you had kids. Yeah. Like, so many of you had kids. Okie dokie. So, we were both pregnant. Yeah. And so how did John react? How'd you tell him?
I don't really remember that either.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I think I just told him I was pregnant. Or I'm pretty sure he went and bought the tests.
Really?
Yeah. I think we were on our way home from somewhere. And then he grabbed the test. And we just went into the dollar store because we were right there.
Yeah.
And then I took the test and...
It was right away positive?
Mm-hmm.
And he was right
I think he was like disbelief. Like he didn't believe it. Because it was dollar store tests. So then I think he went and got me another one. To make sure. And yeah. I got pregnant. I was super excited. This time.
So roles reversed.
Yeah. And Sawyer was super excited.
Did you tell, like, your family and everybody everything right away?
Yep.
Did you go to the doctor right away?
No, because I don't remember what the issue was with...
Insurance?
Yeah. Or me. I don't remember. Why don't I remember this?
I don't know. You have
Do
a
you
good
remember
memory.
it all?
No. I was also pregnant. It was so stressful. Well, no, with Elena, I didn't drink that much soda. I had a little bit of soda here and there. Mm-hmm. I was just so tired with Elena. I remember we always were doing squats and stuff. I'll tell. Literally, there's so much good advice from all the girls at Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, I think I was super tired, obviously. Mm-hmm. I did not have to go on bed rest, though. But then when I went in for one of my checkups, all of a sudden, like, she's doing the ultrasound in the room, so it's not like the super high-tech one. And all of a sudden, I was like, I'm going to throw up. And then she's like, okay, we'll give you a minute. Like, whatever. And I threw up, like, 4 times. And then they took my blood pressure and then I think the baby's and pretty much said that I had to immediately go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then my doctor wasn't there at that time. So I was meeting with a different doctor and they said that I had to go into, like, I had to have a C-section immediately.
Yeah. And
I wasn't able to do a VBAC. Like, that wasn't even, like, I don't know if it was because it wasn't planned or if we just didn't have that time. Mm-hmm. And John came, like, in his work clothes because he was still at work. It was in the afternoon. I think my appointment was, like, 1 o'clock. So it was almost 3, 4 o'clock when John got there. And I was panicking. I was, like freaking out thinking something was wrong with the baby, not that I had the flu. So I just thought like my body was reacting to something bad. Okay. But then my mom's like, they wouldn't let you drive. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. So I was throwing up the entire time. During my C-section, I was throwing up constantly. And like I said before, you're strapped down. So you're literally just with your like head turned throwing up into a little bowl. Ugh. And I, at one point, was like choking on my vomit almost because it was like all my face. I don't remember. And then the anesthesiologist fell asleep. And then John's like, dude, she's like choking.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. So that wasn't exciting.
Did John give you play-by-play the second time?
No, I don't even think he watched the second time. I think
he's like, been there, done that. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
Do they cut in the same spot? Do you know?
Yeah, they do. They do cut in the same spot. I remember, like, after that C-section, I did not want to leave the hospital.
Why?
I was so nervous. I was sick. Like, so sick. They had to give me, like, those Band-Aid stickers, like, that you put behind your ear to help with nausea. Like, the whole 5 days I was in there.
For 5 days you were in the hospital?
Yeah.
The C-section or what?
Yeah.
Dang.
Same with Sawyer. Oh, I forgot. Sawyer also had jaundice when he was born. So he had to do the Billy Bellies, like the sun baths. Yeah. So he had that. Peyton was perfect from what I remember. I don't think there was anything like wrong with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, having 2 babies. And then where we moved, our bathroom was upstairs. And again, you're not supposed to go upstairs when you first have a C-section, but I was up and down, up and down, up and down. I didn't take any pain medicine after both of my C-sections. I was too scared that I wouldn't wake up or that I wouldn't be like okay for Sawyer. I did also try breastfeeding with Peyton. Peyton latched fine. But I got sick every single time I nursed. I was going to look up what it was called and I forgot. But my body produced too much of a hormone while I was feeding. So it would make me throw up. So then I struggled with, producing enough because of my nutrition. So I made it, 3 weeks, I want to say.
I was going to say a couple weeks.
But I did have to supplement with formula because at some point I wasn't making enough.
Yeah.
And I also got like mastitis.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember calling you and asking you about that and you told me to put cabbage leaves and I think you gave me tea to drink too.
Well, I gave you the tea to drink to help soften your cervix for having a VBAC. That was the red raspberry leaf tea.
Got it.
But I was going to make you a honey. So basically you cut up garlic and you put it in honey and then you take a spoonful of that or put it on. I don't remember if you're supposed to eat it or put it on your nipples. And then you were on maternity leave. I was on maternity leave. I was going to drop it off at your house, but I didn't know where you lived. You suck at answering your phone.
Yeah, I was like super struggling with Peyton. With Sawyer, I keep going back. I'm sorry. But with Sawyer, I tried to exclusively pump.
Yeah.
That was not fun because he wouldn't latch, but I felt some sort of way about not giving him formula and I wanted to give him breast milk. And that was awful because I would be awake. I would have to pump. Mm-hmm. Then he would wake up and I would feed him. And then I would finally get him back to sleep. And then 20 minutes later, I had to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I had to always have an alarm set for me to pump. Otherwise, you get engorged and it just...
mastitis.
Hurts so freaking bad. And pumping, going places, and being at work, that all sucked. Mm-hmm. I did try to be a stay-at-home mom with Sawyer for like 2 months.
So did you quit VS?
I quit VS when Sawyer was like almost 1.
So what were you when Sawyer...
So I was, who knows what they called it then? The backroom manager. We'll say that. So I was having to be at work at 4 a.m. every day. So I was taking Sawyer to John's mom's best friend's house. I would have to leave my house at like 2:45 to take Sawyer there, give him a bottle there, put him back to sleep in his pack and play, and then be to work by 4. It was a lot.
Because what was John's schedule?
That was when John worked the oil field. So he wasn't home. And that was... And Marissa had a job, I believe. So, like, that was all that I could do.
Dang.
So that was challenging. So then I decided to take some time off, and I decided to quit. And then I went to North Dakota with John for a month.
Really? And lived out there?
Yep. Sawyer and I lived in a hotel.
Dang.
And we just kind of went to parks. There's nothing going on in North Dakota. So we would go shopping at Walmart. I think there was a Maurice's there and a Vanity. And we shopped and went to parks. Like, that is all that we did. It was fun. And I made a lot of, like, crock pot meals and things like that in the hotel. But we had a burner, like, because people lived in them out there. But we were living the life and then came back home. And then I couldn't take it anymore. I went back to work.
Just back to VS?
Back to Victoria's Secret. I came back as a selling associate.
Really?
Yeah. Dang. And then I got my position back because someone quit or something. I don't know. Yeah. And Peyton obviously was super easy to name because, again, One Tree Hill. So now we have Peyton Sawyer, my favorite character from One Tree Hill. I don't even know if she's actually my favorite, though, either.
Really?
But I really like her. I mean, One Tree Hill is a part of our life.
Like yours and John's?
We watched it a lot. He's actually the one who got me interested in One Tree Hill. Because him and his ex-girlfriend used to watch it. And then that's why we're so into Gavin DeGraw, too. Because he's on that show. And our wedding song is Gavin DeGraw.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, I now have 2 beautiful babies. I do not want any more children. Not because my birth sucked, just because I can't handle any more children. I don't want any more.
Once you have 2, what's one more?
I don't know. Sawyer was the best big brother, but now he's...
Yeah. Now
that they're older, like, sometimes, don't get me wrong, they get along, but they're challenging. I think it's true when my mom always said that, just wait. You're going to get it, like, 2 times fold. Like, for sassiness, and because I was not a good baby either. I was a good baby. I wasn't a good, like, toddler little kid.
Yeah.
I had a lot of moments. And Peyton definitely has her fair share of moments. Yeah. But that's really it all about my birth stories. I feel kind of guilty that I don't remember them fully. Like she says, I normally do have a really good memory. And I feel like I remember so many things about other people's lives. I don't know why not mine.
Well, wait until next week, because I barely remember anything at all. Ever.
And I tried, like, baby books and writing it down. I sucked at that. Like, I bought, like, the cutest freaking baby books. And they have baby boxes.
Really?
From when I was born, my mom I have a whole box of stuff. I have the newspaper article.
A newspaper article?
The day I was born. I have all my cards. I have my first nookie, my first shoes, my first onesie. I have the newspaper article. Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested on the day I was born. So that's what my newspaper is. I have my grandmother's notes about, like, contractions.
Like she bought a newspaper from the day that you were born.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have so many things. My grandma was a jeweler, so she had like baby's first ring. I have one of those. I have my first birthday napkin and plate.
Your mom said that bar, boom, up there.
Yeah, and I tried, and I have some things, but I don't have enough. And I think when we moved, John threw some things away. I'm not an organized person. Trying.
We're working on it.
But things got lost, definitely.
Yeah.
I still have their pregnancy tests, though, which, gross.
What?
I don't know why. I have their hair from their first haircut. I don't know. That's it. That's my birth story.
And next week, you can hear mine. We love you. Bye.